Introduction. The purpose behind this little book is to help services contractors identify some components that might be causing harm to their business, not intentionally, merely because you, as an owner, haven't considered them before, or if you have, you haven't managed to get to implementing them yet. By services contractors I am meaning those involved as HVAC/mechanical contractors, electrical contractors, which includes specialist components thereof such as communications, fire alarms, security systems, etc. Plumbing/hydraulics, including gas contractors, drainage contractors, fire protection contractors, both active and passive. Generally, this information is aimed at small to medium-sized businesses that have a yearly revenue of up to $15,000 USD. How owners can free their time in their business. One of the biggest problems most owner-operators face is that they work too much in the business rather than on the business. If you think this is you, then rest assured you are not alone. There are many reasons why this happens. Generally it's a factor of habit. An owner-operator starts small and has to do everything. As time goes on and the business grows, the owner just sees that they have to just do more of the same. But what actually happens here is that the owner caps out the growth of the business because there are only so many hours in a day, so many days in a week, etc. Efficiency becomes second place to the need to hold on to everything because that's what an owner gets used to. In order to free up time, an owner must learn to delegate and also bring in help so that they can concentrate on the important parts of their business rather than those that can be done by anyone. Examples of delegating or outsourcing could include: 1. Using a specialist freelance estimator to quote jobs. 2. Getting a bookkeeper to do the books. 3. Hiring an SEO specialist to ensure you're getting good local leads via Google Business Profile. 4. Utilizing technology to automate tasks. 5. Promoting or hiring staff to take simple time-consuming tasks away from you. You will start to see the picture here, and there may be many more depending on how your business is set up. The main objective is to reduce the amount of time you don't have to do work on low-paid tasks, and transfer You become the creator of your own future when you give yourself the time to step back and work on your business and let others take care of the ticking parts that make it all work. Freeing up your time doesn't necessarily mean you get lazy and take so much off that you achieve the opposite, by allowing your business to fall apart without checks and balances in place, merely to free your time so you can become more efficient in building a strong brand that will ultimately grow. Exercise 1. Write down a list of everything that you do daily, weekly, monthly, yearly in your business and then rate it in a separate column as to whether you totally need to do it or whether you could take some time to train someone else to do it or pay someone else to do it. Objections. Some of you at this point might be saying that's all well and good, but I don't have the funds to pay someone to do some of the tasks for me. Here is my answer to this: if this is the case, your business isn't performing very well. You're probably fighting week to week, month to month to pay bills when they fall due. The reason you're spending too much working in the business trying to make it work and sacrificing your time to survival mode tactics rather than empire building tactics. This is not uncommon, but you have to start by creating a slight shift in your thinking for "I can't do it" to "how I can do it." Anything is possible if you put your mind to it. If outsourcing really bothers you and is 100% a no-no, then start by outsourcing internally or ask friends/family to help in return for some future benefit when you steer the ship around. Think about as many ways you can to make it work so you can get out of the cycle of desperation and step into being a powerhouse CEO of your own future. I guarantee you, if you think hard enough, you will look back on the day and laugh about your objection. You will see it for what it is: a limiting belief currently holding you back from your dream outcome or having a thriving business that enables you to live the life you want on your terms. It's totally possible. How to ethically increase profits? Whatever the reason you started your business, an important, critical part is that it needs to make money in order to survive. Making a profit is the business equivalent of oxygen. Without it, the entity will slowly die. There are two items in accounting term you need to be aware if you are not already: gross profit and net profit. Gross profit is calculated by taking total revenue minus the cost of goods sold and then dividing the difference by total revenue to obtain a percentage. Net profit is revenue remaining after deducting cost of goods sold, i.e. the gross as above, less remaining operating expenses, taxes, interest payments and other expenses, to derive what is called net income, which is then multiplied by 100 and divided by the total revenue to obtain the net profit. Now if that sounds all too complicated, then let your bookkeeper or accountant worry about it. All you need to know is that the net profit needs to be positive, and the higher it is the better. So how do we achieve a higher percentage? By knowing your number and everything that is going on in your business, you can learn to optimize the costs and increase the selling price by ensuring that you have a defined system for each side of the equation. Optimizing costs requires tenacity and educating the workforce, maybe even incentivizing them not to waste unnecessarily. It could also mean getting into some negotiations with suppliers, expanding your supplier network to facilitate competition and the like. It doesn't necessarily mean buying more units that you won't use immediately, then you possibly run into other costs like storage. That means optimization is not achieved. Increasing costs needs to be handled with care, especially if you operate in a competitive location where commodity pricing prevails. But as a strategy, it can be done by utilizing amended messaging that your competitors are not. An example of this is maybe not all service contractors offer a 24-hour call-out. You could offer a 1-hour response time, for example, subject to terms so you don't get caught out, for a premium simply because you're the only one in your area that does. This is an example of where you can ethically raise a price because you're doing something someone else isn't, and your customer may have an immediate need that they are willing to pay handsomely for. Have a think about how you could reinvent some of your services in your area where your competitors are not offering exactly the same. How to reduce risk? There is an old statement that suggested the business owner's reward for taking a risk is profit. Whilst I'm not going to suggest this is wrong, in today's environment, we need to be super aware of what risks are prevalent in our business/industry and whether we are happy to continue to be responsible for them or to take an alternative approach. Sometimes business owners just continue to absorb risk in their business because they see it as that's the way it is and are scared that by doing something different may affect their ability to secure work. The worst case is that business owners are not even aware of all their risks. At the time of compiling this booklet, rising costs are an issue and material scarcity is an issue, probably more so than at any time in the last few decades. A business owner has three options. 1. Ignore the issue and hope all will be well. 2. Try to work out what could go wrong over the period of the works and provide a contingency for them and hope that all will be well. 3. Or, the business owner could list the risks and insist that there is a shared approach between client and contractor. Number 3 is the best position and number 1 is the worst. Each business owner knows their market and clients to the extent that you should be able to work out where to go with risks. But you should have planned for all risks. If you do not, you are accepting full responsibility for any adverse outcomes with little or no grounds to go to the client with. How to strengthen and motivate your team? Having an engaged workforce is super critical in today's environment. More and more, industry bodies are highlighting mental health issues amongst workforces, lack of morale, and difficulty for businesses to find the right employees. So it's now more important than ever to ensure your workforce will have your back. The best way to do that is to have theirs. It's a two-way street. Here are some suggestions on how to have a better engaged workforce. 1. Involve employees in the business. Consider having regular meetups at least once a week. At the end of the week is usually a good way to finish the week off with some social activities as well, but be careful if you offer alcohol at such events that you take proactive measures to ensure employees 2. Let all employees know that can provide feedback, positive or negative, and set a process so they understand how it works. If it comes from the top, this is more impactful. 3. Let employees know when you have something to appreciate them for. It will mean a lot to them. Be careful with schemes like Employee of the Month, because for some that can be taken negatively. An engaged workforce is about balance, but with boundaries. Let employees know what the company's goals are and link their own objectives and career paths to them. Give them a purpose within the organization. 5. Reward good work, similar but not the same as point 36. Create an engaging atmosphere, and deal with anything toxic immediately. 7. Ensure every employee understands and has access to an employee manual which details everything they need to know, e.g. how to fill out timesheets, rules for sick days, etc. 8. If you have the budget, consider getting an employee welfare external service on board where employees can reach out to when they need to. 9. If you have the budget, consider regular paid training events or non-paid events with suppliers, manufacturers, etc. 0. At least once a year set aside a budget for an employee day, go-karting, golf, etc. How technology can become your best team player. The use of technology can be a little intimidating for some business owners. They may know it can help them but are unsure how to implement it.